In the Ottoman Empire, the Sultan's wife could only eat her cucumbers chopped, so that she doesn't masturbate. I always masturbate without a cucumber. I do always carry a ripe mango though. In July 1184, Henry VI, King of Germany, later Holy Roman Emperor, held court at a Hoftag in the Petersburg citadel in Erfurt. On the morning of 26 July, the combined weight of the assembled nobles caused the wooden second-story floor of the Peterskirche to collapse, and most of them fell through into the latrine cesspit below the ground floor, where about 60 of them drowned in liquid excrement. And he later went on to become emperor. Yep, totally an accident. He wouldn't have put all the rich, powerful, and important people in one place just to stage an accident for his own power or anything. The British Academy of Science redacted massive amounts of the first published observations of penguins by biologists. Penguins are the worst. So much rape. So much necrophilia. The Academy decided the public wouldn't handle it well. They didn't put that in Happy Feet. Julius Wagner Jauregg won the 1927 Nobel Prize for Medicine by giving people malaria. The fever from the malaria would go so high that it could kill off an otherwise untreatable syphilis infection. Left untreated, syphilis could lead to insanity, so it was pretty bad thing. In comparison, having malaria, which we had treatments for, was a blessing. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/pyrotherapy. Early 20th century medicine was extremely cool because we basically had half the pieces of the puzzle, but damn if we weren't going to try and guess what it was. There is a man named Eben Byers. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/Eben_Byers Wiprov equals SFLA1 who is entombed in Pittsburgh's Allegheny National Cemetery. He was a golf pro and socialite who ended up being the victim of quack medicine. He consumed so much radiator, radium dissolved in water, that just prior to his death his jaw literally eroded off of his face. His mausoleum has him in a lead coffin because he's still radioactive. Greater than 32 micrograms of radium in him and 10 is fatal. I'm surprised he didn't die sooner. Ammonia-rich fumes from a castle's toilet system were used to delouse clothes inside special closets. The real reason you stand aside when royalty walks by. William C. Minor, one of the contributing writers of the Oxford English Dictionary, chopped off his penis using the pocket knife he used to cut the bound pages of his old first edition book. So that's why it's called dictionary. Rome lost as many soldiers in one battle as the United States lost in the entirety of the Vietnam War. It was the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC against Hannibal. And this was back when the entire world population was tiny compared to what it is now. Rome lost 20% of its adult male population in a single day. Edit. Extra Credits did a great series on the Punic Wars. https://youtube.be/eb_zieltmy. And won the war. That's the craziest part. Fuckers didn't stop. You kill 20% of males. We'll come back with the other 80%. Romans used to execute criminals in the Colosseum by recreating myths. A woman was raped to death by a specially trained bull. Pasiphae. A man was given wings and thrown across the Colosseum. Icarus. Another was made to play an instrument and then be torn apart by animals, Orpheus, and many, many more. So anyway, here's Wonderwall. Gets torn apart by animals immediately after the song. After Napoleon's death, it's been alleged, and told to me by a historian at Les Invalides, that his penis was cut off and sold and exhibited through the early 20th century. It was described in 1927 as resembling a piece of leather, or a shriveled eel. Same goes for Rasputin's dick. https://www.cultofweird.com/curiosities/Rasputin-penis/. But it was an anaconda. At the beginning of World War II, in Great Britain, over 750,000 domestic animals were euthanized out of fear that rations would be spread too thin and pet abandonment would lead to masses of strays. The National Air Raid Precautions Animal Committee, NARPAC, sent pamphlets out to homes suggesting that people should send their pets to the countryside or, kindly, have them destroyed. This later became known as the British Pet Massacre. https://en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/British_pet_massacre. My late grandma had a pet pig that she loved when she was a kid. In her old age she would repeat the same 3 to 4 stories about him. Needless to say, Piggy didn't survive the war. One day when times were tough, my great-granddad took Sir Oink a lot out back and the rest is history. I don't think my nan ever really forgave her dad for that. It used to be thought that blowing smoke up someone's ass was a way to revive them. Some swimming pools actually had a kit, with a bellows-type device, the blow smoke up the ass of a drowning victim. Edited. To clarify tobacco smoke. Are you blowing smoke up my ass? Boston Corbett, the guy who killed John Wilkes Booth, Lincoln's assassin, was a raging lunatic who cut his own balls off with a pair of scissors after passing a couple of prostitutes on the street. He did not seek medical attention after he did that until after he had gone to a prayer meeting and had dinner. He also escaped from an insane asylum on horseback and was never seen again. His name was Thomas H. Boston Corbett. https://en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/Boston_Corbett . And it's widely thought that his mental issues were caused, exacerbated by exposure to chemicals necessary in hatmaking, which was his profession several times in his life, specifically mercury-3 nitrate. This was a common enough affliction and is where we get the phrase, mad as a hatter. Didn't the author of Frankenstein lose her virginity on her mother's grave? I went to the Mary Shelley Museum experience in Bath the other day and her life is fucking nuts from start to finish. John R. Brinkley was an American doctor who would surgically implant goat testicles into men's scrotums to cure impotence. His story gets crazier from there. If not for a technicality, he would have won the 1930 election for governor of Kansas. A lake in every county and goat testicles in every scrotum. The CIA gave unsuspecting civilians LSD and then observed their interactions with hookers, paid informants, while under the influence, for experimental purposes. This operation, https://en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/operation_midnight_climax, was called Midnight Climax. https://gizmodo.com/the-chia-once-ran-brothels-and-dosed-unsuspecting-custom-168701685/amp. Edit. For clarity, added sources for your infotainment. Free drugs and hookers? Is it too late to get in on this study? In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh would periodically masturbate into the Nile as a ritual of sorts to guarantee good harvests. Pharaoh proceeds to make every day a good harvest, twice. The reason powder wigs were so popular among the wealthy was because it covered up the smell and sores of syphilis. Don't forget about the lice in ancient Egypt. That's why they wore wigs. Anton Leeuwenhoek, the father of microscopy, used his invention, the microscope, on his own sperm after one night with his wife. Sperm was unknown at the time and he thought they were little people. Imagine the existential crisis you'd have after that one. Brazilian emperor built a huge personal library just so he could freely shag his mistresses without being bothered. Aw shit. He's reading again. Félix Fauré, French president from 1895 to 1899, died while getting head. She sucked the soul out of him. James Joyce had a fart fetish. https://www.google.com/amp/s/wordandsilence.com/2019/04/09/joyces-dirty-letters/amp/closing parenthesis. He often wrote about it in letters to his lover. Greater than, you had an ass full of farts that night, darling, and I fucked them out of you. Big fat fellows. Long windy ones. Quick little merry cracks and a lot of tiny little naughty farties ending in a long gush from your hole. It is wonderful to fuck a farting woman when every fuck drives one out of her. This is the most beautiful quote I've ever read. Hitler was very anti-drugs in the 1930s. By the end he was on barbiturates, methamphetamines, coke and amphetamines. And Nazi soldiers were given stimulants during the war. When the future Edward VII balked at his mistress's account saying, "Madam, I have spent enough on you to build a battleship," she replied, "And you have spent enough in me to float one." That's pretty clever. I can see why he liked her. The Mongols had a rule. You're not allowed to kill the leader of a country, or city-state, by piercing their skin. So they came up with ingenious ways of killing people. There were stories of a potential Khan that boiled a man alive. Other stories include pouring molten gold down a man's throat. Though not necessarily NSFW, Genghis Khan gave cities the option of surrendering, or face the option of killing every man, woman, and child in that city. He would literally genocide everyone in that city because the ruler wanted to fight back. And that's how Genghis Khan killed 10% of the world's population at that time, 20 to 40 million people. They have killed Russian nobility by binding them, laying them on the ground, installing a giant wooden flooring directly on their bodies and having an all-nighter victory feast on that deck, with a lot of dancing and jumping. Records say the deck always stood firmly on the ground by morning.